morning, everybody. I want to start off today by looking at the last 3 days of total snow accumulation through 6 a.m. Central Time this morning. The blizzard that still has a warning out on it right here in parts of the Red River Valley of the North will last about noon today. We can just kind of get a good look at how much snow did fall through. So most of the snowfall amounts were under about 4 inches, although there was some ice mixed in with this at first. But on the other side of this, getting back to the west, this is going to be something we're going to see change a lot in the next 15 days. There's some decent snows that pushed up into the mountains here in Montana, Wyoming, and parts of Idaho. And then, of course, with the new low that's coming out of the Four Corner States today, we did see quite a bit of snow in the Four Corner States, including some snow in Las Vegas. I'm sure some of you may saw that on the news or at least on your social media feeds. But this second low that's about to emerge here is going to race across the country, lead to a quieter weekend, and then the pattern goes very, very active. But before we go talk about that, I do want to show you what happened in the Southern Plains yesterday. This is just some satellite imagery from yesterday around midday going toward evening, so that's the sunset there. So here's our very large extratropical cyclone, the first of these two Colorado lows. This is the one that this morning is over the Great Lakes. But I want you to notice that behind this, we saw this very large dust storm that came out of Texas and Oklahoma. If I kind of rock back and forth, you can really see the extent of this. And what this just tells me is that even though we've seen in January and early February a few times where some moisture has returned to this area, it has not been enough to kind of break that long-standing drought that is here. And we're going to have to continue to discuss what this looks like in the coming weeks and months. This is an area that needs to see significant correction on the drought situation going into, end of March, April, and early May. That's going to be the most critical time period. Okay, as we go through the overnight hours, there goes the system toward the Great Lakes. This is all infrared satellite imagery here. And just this morning as I was recording, as the sun came up, this is our next big low we're going to watch. So today's all hazards weather map is, again, very busy. We have winter storm warnings stretching from Arizona all the way to parts of Iowa, Illinois, and even into southern Wisconsin. Again, here's the blizzard warning that lasts about noon today. There were 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts with this yesterday, just incredibly windy conditions. And what this particular storm system is going to do is put down some snow in a place that really needs to get this snow. We need the moisture in Colorado, Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri. This is an area that we've continued to discuss the subsurface soil moisture deficits. And the good news is with the activity in the pattern that I see to finish this month and start March, not only will this area continue to see more precipitation, but the West will as well. So the severe weather threat today is something we really need to be watching out for, because by this evening into tonight, we're going to have to keep an eye right here, kind of on the eastern side of Arkansas into western Tennessee and northwestern Mississippi for the risk of strong storms that could be tornadic. So Storm Prediction Center was very clear that this area does have the risk tonight of having supercells that develop. Of course, they rotate and produce the risk of tornadoes. They've put a 10% hatched over this area, just for those that keep an eye on the SPC. Then tomorrow, as the system kind of evolves and moves toward the north and east, they have extended a large area here with an enhanced risk of severe storms. So this is a 2-day event we're going to have to keep a close eye on. On the snow side of it, I want to show you the National Digital Forecast Database. I think of all the model forecasts I've seen, this is at least painting the right stripe on where this is going to be. There's going to be a very sharp gradient on the north and south side of how this is going to fall, but there's the potential in through here of 4 to 8 inches, maybe a little bit more, right in through this strip and through here, coming out of Colorado and running up to parts of Michigan. The snowfall probability map of at least getting 4 inches, so let's at least nail that down, shows us that there's a better than 80% chance right in through that area of picking up at least 4 inches. And some places down here in southern Colorado could easily grab upwards of 9 to 10 inches of snow out of this event. So today's high-res NAM, that's where we're going to start off with looking at our models today. Let's get this queued up about 10 o'clock this morning. So the first low is trying to go through Ontario and Quebec, scattered showers to the south. And then the second low emerges out of Colorado throughout the day today and moves and spreads that snow into southern Nebraska, Kansas. We do need to be on the lookout. This was consistent with yesterday's forecast as well for the potential for some ice right in through here. So possibly in Kansas City tonight or getting up toward northern Missouri. And then that tomorrow could spread throughout a large section of Illinois, right in here in the early morning hours. But keeping a close eye on that snow on the backside, that's where we're going to be on the lookout. Now you notice that as we go in, I'll just kind of rock this back to this evening, okay? This is where we're expecting to see late tonight the potential for storms to break out and be kind of supercellular in nature, individual storm systems here. But the main front, the main forcing sweeps through in the overnight hours and presses across the Mississippi River by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Now, there's a broad warm sector that's opening up ahead of this. Very, very warm conditions here. But that ice threat possibly right in through this part of the Midwest with snow on the backside. So that system moves out. You can see it stretching here on Thursday. This, again, is why the Storm Prediction Center is watching the main frontal boundary for the risk of those strong storms. They'll be brief. They'll move through quickly, but possibly do some damage here. And then that system moves into New England where there's so much mild air, we're not looking at a snow event here. It snows in Ontario and Quebec. Now, behind this, there is a brief shot at some cooler air, but we go into the weekend looking like this. Just wide open, kind of drier conditions, higher pressure, and that's just getting us set up for next week. And this is what's happening next week. This is the trough ridge pattern going through the end of this week. So there's the system we're watching leave. We're blocked up for a moment. I shouldn't say blocked up because it doesn't last long enough, but there is a higher of a low setup here with a cutoff low into California. But what I'm watching is the development of this broader trough over Canada. A lot of cold air in that. And by next Monday, the split flow in the jet stream seems to be backing up to the west. So this ridge is moving west, and that seems to allow much deeper troughs to occupy the Canadian prairie in the western United States. And while all that is happening, the southeastern ridge is rebuilding. So the flow has got to skirt between the two, and it's going to be very active. This is a very active pattern. So if we do a quick multi-model analysis on this, we have already seen through this system here. So GFS and European, okay? Let's let this go through. Now we're into the weekend where there's just a little clipper that runs through Ontario into Quebec. And what we're going to watch is next week, as the colder air comes down out of Canada, the cutoff low, which was sitting here in both models, starts to make its way into the southwest at the same time that colder air is running down. So this is a lot of snow for the Rocky Mountains. And systems, big ones, are going to be entering the Pacific Northwest in this pattern. So this, again, is next Tuesday morning. So take a look at the models here Tuesday morning. Got rain here in the Tennessee Valley, a little snow in Wisconsin, and snow in the Rockies. Now, the system we're watching carefully is attempting to emerge with kind of different timing in the models here next Wednesday morning. Notice that the European farther back to the west, the GFS more progressive. The GFS wants to toss this system quickly into New England. So for the snow lovers here, they're going to look at this model and just hope that it comes true. I still think the European model has probably got the solution correct. It's a little bit later in the time period, and it rolls right up here. Now, over the last few days, this storm system has run here. It's come all the way down like this, and the current run is taking it through here. So it still has a lot of time before we know where this one's going to go. But look at the west. Multiple chances of bringing in big snowstorms, big precipitation events into the west as the trough deepens next Monday through Friday. It's the whole week next week that we're watching the west. So how much snow could the west get? And remember, these operational runs are not going to be good to give you the amount. It's just seeing that the atmosphere will be capable of doing this given the depth of that trough and the moisture involved. I love this. In fact, in today's report, we cover the west, get a good look at the upper Colorado Basin. We talk about the snowpack in the west and where this is going. Because overall, this is a pretty good picture in terms of what we're expecting for snow in the west over the next 10 days. How about the rest of the country? This map is from the European Ensemble. Probability of getting at least 6 inches of snowfall. So you can see now where those kind of two heavier stripes are east of the Rocky Mountains. But then, of course, in the Rockies and Cascades and Sierra Nevada, we're going to be picking up quite a bit more than that. On the wet side of this, the models continue to keep parts of the Mid-South, the Tennessee and Ohio Valley, with the greatest chances of picking up at least an inch of liquid out of this. So this is quite a bit of heavy rain in this area. Florida's hot and dry. We're drier a little bit farther to the west, but this colder air that's coming down is going to help this pattern evolve for week 2. So both the European model on the right and the NOAA's CPC on the left continue to show a very active pattern to finish the month of February. So this will be something to watch. This is critical for the success of the 2023 growing season. This is exactly what we want to see. In fact, I just want to fill it all in all the way to the bottom here in Texas where that dust storm was. Temperatures. Now we're just going to do a quick run through the next 15 days. You're going to watch the colder air begin to advance mid to late week next week. Okay, so see it coming into Canada there? And that's going to really set up in that deeper trough over the west. Temperatures could be 10 to up to 25, maybe 30 degrees Fahrenheit colder than normal through the Canadian prairie into Montana, the northern plains. But that southeastern ridge has just got It's got a lot of strength, and there's support for it to stay here, keeping this area mild from what the MJO is doing, La Nina fading, the blocking situation across the high latitudes. I just see a lot of evidence that this pattern will actually unfold the way the model is suggesting it's going to here. And as we've been talking about, it's right in the middle. That's where the contrast is. That's where the storm systems are going to go. But this is good for more snow in the west as well. Lastly, I just want to show you the latest updates on South America. You can see here that over the next 5 to 10 days, mild conditions kind of return to parts of Brazil, but much of Argentina, Paraguay, southern Brazil will see cooler than normal temperatures. So while it's very dry down there for the most part over the next 10 days, this area will not be seeing the heat stress. What will be concerning is, again, through central Brazil, we're looking at an additional 2 to 4 inches of rainfall over average. So some places could pick up a half a foot of rain just in the next 10 days. And it's wetter than normal in Mato Grosso again as well, where we're trying to very rapidly harvest a crop. So I'll talk to you again tomorrow as we watch this pattern evolve. But if you're in that severe weather area or in that snow stripe today and tomorrow, just be prepared, please, okay? Hang on to weather.gov as your greatest source for getting good information about how this weather pattern is going to evolve. And we'll talk again in the morning. Thanks.